140,000 viewers. And one thing is clear. Reese's Pieces, by you, Barbie, she is wrong. People are literally reaching for the remote and turning her games off. She didn't even draw 80,000 viewers on a Saturday game.
Angel Reese, she decided to subtly put fuel on this flaming ass fire. She sent out a tweet that said, "Happy Black History Month. Y'all know I had to be the first. The first player to miss a layup? The first player to get ejected?"
Angel Reese is at it again, this time blaming racism for her ejection from an unrivaled league game. But let's set the record straight. This had nothing to do with race and everything to do with her own actions. Let's talk about the real facts.
Unbelievable. Black History Month. Y'all know I had to be the first. Seriously. So she just claimed that she got thrown out because she's a victim of racism.
When it's not going well for you, claim racism.
She came out, made it about race, and got crushed.
Reese played just 13 minutes, missed multiple easy layups, and got so frustrated that she started arguing with referees, refusing to back down, and ultimately got herself ejected.
She has her worst professional pro game, and her team wins.
Angel Reese is important. To who? I have been covering Angel Reese for about 2 years now. I have yet to see her draw a single fly to a fresh turd. But according to Angel Reese, everything I do keep going viral.
And instead of taking responsibility, she ran to social media, played the victim, and tried to turn this into a racial issue. But here's what she won't talk about. Her viewership numbers are plummeting. Fans are tuning out of her games, and the unrivaled league is collapsing without Caitlin Clark. This isn't about unfair treatment. This is about the harsh reality that Reese isn't the superstar she claims to be.
Whatever she thinks she is, or she's moving the needle, no. People are reaching for their remote when her games come on and clicking to something else. They're tuning out.
So let's break it all down. The missed shots, the ejection, the ratings disaster, and why Caitlin Clark made the smartest decision by staying far away from this mess.
They've lost over half of their viewers since the debut. By the third week, they went from 311,000 viewers for a Rose Basketball Club Angel Reese game down to 140,000. They would have had a hard enough time if Caitlin Clark would have played.
Stay tuned, because the numbers don't lie, and today we're exposing the truth.
3 weeks into the season and Unrivaled is struggling to sell out a studio that seats 800 people?
At some point, TNT Sports is going to be like, we ain't making no money because we ain't got no ratings. And I mean, they don't have any ratings, and she's not pulling them. She had a game last Saturday, didn't even make 80,000 viewers. This person said you complain about everything. Professional life is different, and you can't seem to handle it.
Angel Reese wants people to believe that her ejection was about racism, but the facts tell a very different story. She wasn't ejected because of bias. She was ejected because of her own actions on the court, and when you look at her performance, it's clear why she was frustrated.
I thought Angel Reese was a draw. Now, in fairness to Angel Reese, I thought both technical fouls were bullshit. According to Angel Reese, this is mythical racism. That evil white man ejected Angel Reese on the first day of Black History Month.
Let's start with the numbers. Reese played just 13 minutes before getting thrown out. In that short time, she put up 10 points and 14 rebounds, which sounds decent at first, until you look closer. She missed multiple easy layups, shot inefficiently, and showed clear signs of frustration as the game slipped away from her.
How many of you heard about Angel Reese becoming the first player to get ejected from a pretend basketball game in Unrivaled? Hell, how many of you even knew that Unrivaled was still in business? After seeing the ratings through the first 2 weeks, I'm surprised that TNT hasn't kicked Unrivaled out of the studio that they're playing games in, so the network can use the studio to produce something that people will actually watch.
The missed shots were noticeable, and her body language told the full story. She was rattled. Instead of refocusing and stepping up for her team, she lost control.
She had 15 rebounds, 5 offensive ones, and she missed 5 shots. I don't know why that happens, but the less she plays, the more successful her teams are. That feels like Andre Drummond, does it not?
The footage shows exactly what happened. She started mouthing off to the refs, throwing her hands up and refusing to let the calls go. The first technical foul was a warning, but Reese kept going, pushing the limits until she was given a second technical and thrown out of the game.
Have some sportsmanship, seriously. Now, she's still acting up and running her mouth right here. She's pointing out, look, you're running your mouth. Get out of here. The referee said, I'm not listening to your smart-ass mouth. Get out of here.
Now, let's address the real issue here. Reese wasn't ejected for playing aggressive basketball. She wasn't thrown out for competing too hard. She was ejected because she couldn't control her emotions and escalated a situation that should have been avoided. And that's what separates great players from average ones. True stars adjust, reset, and find ways to win. Reese instead melted down.
She got ejected. She came back, claimed that Sports Illustrated was running clickbait because they put out an article that said Angel Reese became the first player to be ejected from Unrivaled. It's literally not clickbait. It was true. Everything I do keep going viral.
But instead of owning up to it, she immediately ran to social media to spin the narrative. She posted cryptic tweets, played the victim, and then made it about race, saying she was unfairly treated during Black History Month. But here's the reality. The footage proves she earned that ejection. It had nothing to do with race.
Angel Reese, you can't be the big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you?
This is the same Angel Reese who once said she was happy to play the villain, but now that her actions have consequences, she wants to rewrite the story. The truth? Her performance was bad, her attitude got her kicked out, and now she's trying to distract people from the real issue. She isn't delivering on the court.
I can't wait to get back to Chicago, man. This person said, don't do that. You spent days bragging about how great Unrivaled is.
I can't wait to get back to the WNBA. If you were making $73,000 a year and someone offered to pay you $250,000 for the same job, would you be disrespecting them publicly? The #1 complaint in the WNBA has been their minimum wage salaries. Unrivaled is giving WNBA players the opportunity to make dollars instead of cents. Not only is Angel Reese not happy, over the weekend, Angel Reese once again lost emotional control as she got on social media and expressed her desire to return to the minimum wage that she was making in the WNBA.
And it's only going to get worse when we talk about how the fans are responding, because the ratings are proving that Angel Reese isn't the star she claims to be.
We've got the Week 3 Unrivaled ratings from last Friday night, and my God, they are disastrous. Angel Reese's debut game with the Rose BC Basketball Club has lost over half of its viewership. And now you got Sue Bird out there trying to tell people to ignore the ratings.
Angel Reese can try to blame racism all she wants, but the real numbers don't lie. Fans are tuning out of her games, and Unrivaled is sinking fast. Let's talk about the viewership collapse. When the league debuted, Reese's first game pulled in 311,000 viewers. That was the best case scenario, with all the hype surrounding Unrivaled and its biggest stars. But fast forward just a few weeks, and the reality is brutal. Her most recent game barely reached 140,000 viewers. That's more than a 50% drop in just 3 weeks.
You see this, investor Sue Bird has no interest in Unrivaled's 313,000 viewership as she urges fans to look at it differently. I'm begging you to not notice, it sucks. According to a recent episode of A Touch More, any takeaways, Sue, is what Rapinoe asked of Sue Bird. What are your thoughts? They had a great opening night. Bird responded, I think Unrivaled by every metric has been super successful. They peaked at 364,000. They averaged 313,000. And then she goes on to celebrate the social media views. Are you kidding me?
And it gets even worse. When Angel Reese's game comes on, fans are literally changing the channel. The numbers show that 50,000 viewers dropped off between the first game of the night and Reese's game.
Unrivaled, Laces versus Lunar Owls, 190,000 viewers. And what's even more hilarious, Phantom versus Rose. Angel Reese is in that game. She gets thrown out of that game. A .14. That means Phantom versus Rose, 140,000 viewers. And then she went on this rant. She started losing her mind.
Think about that. Instead of drawing more people in, she's actually pushing them away. This is the exact opposite of what Reese claimed would happen.
Not only can Angel Reese not draw a crowd, but people are specifically tuning out.
Remember when she bragged about being the one who moves the needle and said fans were tuning in specifically to watch her? Well, the numbers prove otherwise. If she was really the attraction, her viewership would be increasing, not collapsing.
Free me. Like she's trapped. How much money are they paying her? She owns part of the league. She's got equity in the league, and she's not happy.
Unrivaled is paying Angel Reese $250,000 for 8 weeks of her time. The WNBA pays her $73,000 over 5 months. Angel Reese is begging and ready to return to the dump? WNBA players will never be satisfied.
He tweets out, "Free me." Are you kidding me right now? She literally got ejected and threw a fit, a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old, threw a fit on social media. She had a total and complete meltdown. And then talking about free me from a players-owned league you wanted to go play in. Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson sitting their asses at the house.
Instead, fans are rejecting her, and Unrivaled is scrambling to cover it up. And that brings us to TNT's role in all of this. TNT Sports has a financial stake in Unrivaled, and they're trying to hide the fact that the league is a disaster. They've been inflating viewership numbers, focusing on TikTok clips instead of actual TV ratings, and pushing a false narrative that Unrivaled is a success.
Angel Reese is under this illusion that popularity on social media makes you a mainstream draw. She captioned a headline from Sports Illustrated and claimed that everything she does goes viral. Angel Reese is extremely popular with lonely men on social media. That popularity does not equate to ratings. If Angel Reese is a big star, how come people aren't watching her play basketball?
But here's the truth. If the league was actually thriving, they wouldn't have to beg people to ignore the ratings. Even former WNBA star Sue Bird, who invested in Unrivaled, tried to spin the numbers, telling people not to focus on the declining viewership. But why would fans ignore the ratings? People don't want to invest in something that's failing. This happened with the XFL, the USFL, and now it's happening with Unrivaled. If nobody is watching, the league won't survive.
They are offering Caitlin Clark $1 million for 2 months of her services. Players didn't like Caitlin Clark. Why would they be willing to make her the highest paid player in their new league? The idea to offer Caitlin Clark this money, it did not come from WNBA players. It came directly from TNT. Without Caitlin Clark, this league is a polished turd. I mean, why would Angel Reese want Caitlin Clark in this new league? If Caitlin Clark is there, the spotlight of Angel Reese, it becomes a shadow.
And the biggest problem? Caitlin Clark isn't there. Reese and Unrivaled's other stars thought they could make this league work without her, but Clark's absence is proving just how valuable she really is. So now Reese isn't just dealing with an embarrassing ejection, she's also facing the harsh reality that fans don't care about her the way she thought they did. And that's why she's panicking, making excuses, and trying to shift the blame.
Angel Reese was defending one of the unknown Laces as she was dribbling the air out of the miniature ball. It was so quiet in the studio, you could literally hear the ball bouncing off the court.
And I don't know what it is about Angel Reese. When she puts up real productive numbers, her teams lose. Angel Reese goes off and they lose. The one thing we know that women's basketball is not comfortable with, good marketing. Caitlin Clark are good marketing. I mean, Caitlin Clark comes in the WNBA, their cash cow shows up. They avoid her. They think Caitlin Clark is the COVID. The whole league just tried to stay away from her as much as humanly possible when they should be entirely leaning in.
But the facts are crystal clear. Without Clark, Unrivaled is falling apart, and Angel Reese isn't the superstar she claimed to be. While Angel Reese struggles to keep fans interested, there's one player who doesn't need gimmicks, controversy, or excuses to drive ratings. Caitlin Clark. And the proof is everywhere. Let's start with the cold, hard numbers.
36 million she drove to Indianapolis just by showing up as a rookie and making history. And so I understand her point of view. She wants to probably let other athletes shine. And she also says, like, it's earned, not given. There are other people that can use that spotlight to compete as well. So I think Caitlin, she moves because she knows people follow her no matter where she goes. And she's very strategic about dictating where her value is.
While Unrivaled's viewership has dropped by more than 50%, the WNBA, where Clark actually plays, has been seeing record-breaking ratings. Every time Clark steps on the court, millions of people tune in. Networks prioritize broadcasting her games, ticket prices skyrocket, and arenas sell out just to see her play. And keep in mind, Clark is just a rookie. Now compare that to Angel Reese and Unrivaled. The league thought it could succeed without Clark, but the numbers prove otherwise. Even TNT Sports, which has a financial stake in Unrivaled, can't deny the reality. Without Clark, nobody is watching. The fact that Angel Reese's own games lose viewers shows just how little impact she actually has.
This is her play of the night right here. This is what she needs to do a lot more of for the Sky, for the Rose. That nice little pass out to Lexi Hull, who knocked down the three-pointer. Luckily, nobody was there to see that. I'm sure there wasn't anybody watching on TV either. We can see right here, I don't think my girl Angel has been working on layups at all, bro. I think Angel is focused on everything off the court. Doesn't look like she's polished or added to her game at all. Another season of this, and she'll fade into the woodwork.
And let's not forget, Unrivaled tried to get Caitlin Clark. They offered her $1 million plus equity in the league just to bring her in. They knew that Clark was the one who could make the league legitimate, but she didn't fall for it.
The Clark effect led to WNBA games that didn't even feature Clark drawing an average of 400,000 viewers. It's the Caitlin Clark effect.
The Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game, 2.3 million. Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever, 2.25 million. Fever versus the Storm, 2.2 million. Sun versus the Fever, 2.1 million. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying.
Clark saw through the hype and realized that this wasn't about basketball. It was about drama, and she wanted no part of it. And now, look at where both players stand. Caitlin Clark is leading the future of women's basketball, drawing in millions of fans and setting records in the WNBA. Angel Reese is watching her league collapse, getting ejected, and making excuses. This is the harsh truth that Reese doesn't want to admit.
Most players are proud of scoring titles, MVP awards, or making first team All-NBA. Angel Reese is bragging about being the first player ejected from a league that no one is watching.
She spent months trash-talking, claiming that she was the face of women's basketball and acting like she was the biggest attraction in the game. But now, the numbers tell the real story. Caitlin Clark moves the needle. Angel Reese does not. Caitlin Clark dominates on the court. Angel Reese relies on headlines. Caitlin Clark lets her game speak. Angel Reese makes excuses. And this is why Clark didn't need Unrivaled, but Unrivaled desperately needed Clark.
WNBA players, along with their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they downplayed the impact of Caitlin Clark. It is amazing how pretend hatred and fake outrage magically seem to disappear when it comes to making money.
Now, the league is falling apart, the ratings are a disaster, and Reese is stuck trying to find someone else to blame. But the facts are clear. Caitlin Clark is the real superstar of women's basketball, and Angel Reese is just proving why she never was.
The new women's basketball league, Unrivaled, is averaging 194,000 viewers. Coverage on Monday night averaged 166,000. Saturday coverage averaged 98,000. The battle between Dejanay Carrington and Angel Reese barely broke 75,000 viewers. Are you kidding me? If Caitlin Clark would have played in that game, it would have got 500,000 viewers.
At the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. Angel Reese's excuses can't hide the truth. She wasn't ejected because of racism. She was ejected because she lost control. She isn't the biggest draw in women's basketball. Her viewership is tanking, and she isn't the face of the sport. Caitlin Clark is.
People are not paying money to see Angel Reese play basketball.
It is unrivaled. It is also unwatched.
If people wanted to watch her play, Unrivaled would not be struggling in the ratings.
Unrivaled thought they could succeed without Clark, but the ratings prove otherwise. Meanwhile, Reese's games are losing viewers, the league is struggling, and instead of taking accountability, she's pointing fingers.
She's like a child. She's so immature. Money can't buy maturity, no doubt. You can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the girl.
If you were looking for true happiness, money...
But here's the reality. Fans aren't buying it. They're tuning out of her games because she isn't delivering on the court. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to dominate, breaking records, elevating the WNBA, and proving that true superstars don't need drama to stay relevant. So now the question is, how much longer can Angel Reese keep making excuses before everyone stops listening? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real takes on the biggest stories in sports.